Okay, so our recording is in progress, and I think it's important for the beginning of every meeting, especially at times like this, for us to give ourselves a little bit of a glimmer of hope. So that way, there's some inspiration for all of us. Unfortunately, I think that fascism arrived somewhere between January and June of last year. And if you weren't aware that you were living under an authoritarian regime or a dictator, you have been. I think all of us can collectively feel that things feel a little bit different and they're starting to make people uneasy and feel worse. And I saw something on social media that sorry, I have somebody else trying to join. I saw something on social media that spoke about something called collective grief. So the feeling that you have right now is grief, where you might feel a little bit helpless without having a plan. You might feel like not enough leaders are standing up for what's right or standing up for you. And then, unfortunately, you might have already come to the realization that no one else is coming to save us. Even if they wanted to, they can't. So we are all going to have to fight this together because we have no choice. So, an important thing to remember, and this is where the glimmer of hope comes in, is that nothing happens to you, it happens for you. So before dictators and authoritarian regimes, there was still corruption, there were still monopolies, there was still disproportionate influence by wealth. Things like healthcare were still unaffordable, and corporations were not sharing the profits of the production. So we've actually been fighting giants our entire lives. Problems so big that you have to use critical thinking even to understand them, making fighting the system for us so much larger of a problem than when we would even be able to consider. But you have to remember that nothing happens to us, it happens for us. So we might have felt too small to break a system that just wasn't working for us. And we might have felt like we were unable to fight giants. But now the system has been completely broken. And we have no choice but to fight for democracy and to rebuild it. So this is actually our chance to demand extreme change. We have to fight anyway. That's why you're here today. And so we aren't just fighting against fascism. We can fight for all of it. We can fight for healthcare and for human rights and for individuals to be more important than corporate money. We already have to build a new democracy. That's not changing, and we don't have a choice. So now we've been given the chance to make that one the best for all of us. So we'll start and do a little glimmer of hope every time you all come to this meeting. But again, I'm trying to keep it 15 minutes long. So I'm going to move really quickly into what our next plans are. We have to organize and we have to have a plan. Our plan, because we really aren't powerful as individuals, our strongest option is for us to work collectively. The power that we have collectively is within three things. One is our voice and public opinion. When public opinion sways, it's easier to make things change. The other collective power that we have is in our labor and production. If you stop working, if you boycott, you can make things change. And the third power that we have is in the way that we spend our money. I know there's people that have a lot more than we do, but we got a little bit, and collectively, we have a heck of a lot. So the problem so far with any sort of resistance has been always it is too slow. And that's understandable because with a large amount of people, things move slow and people argue. So we are going to join together so we can more easily use our powers collectively with public opinion, with boycotts and protests, and with withholding labor and making sure that we spend money the right way. Our action plan for the moment is for us to just recruit as many people as possible that say they have good morals. Because at this point, if you tell me you have morals, my goodness, that is so good to hear. And I'm happy to work with anybody, Republican or Democrat, independent or undefined. As long as you're at least a good person, that's where our foundation has to be now, because that's the way that we have to be able to join together. So we want to recruit people that have good morals. We have multiple different roles, and the first one is a pledge. You say you have good morals, sign the pledge so you can be somebody that's in our count, in our group, in our collective that says they have good morals. You don't have any time for that. Beyond that, you can't help, you can't volunteer. We understand. Just sign the pledge. So the first role is a pledge. I'll sign. The second role is a recruiter. I'll share. I'll share the links, I'll share the message, I'll share the pledge, and I'll try to get as many people as possible to join the collective to work with us together, even if it's in the smallest way. The final role is a volunteer. So I'll volunteer. I've separated those into different categories because I understand that, first of all, we're all already exhausted and overwhelmed, and some people might want to participate, but they've only got a few 15 minutes a week and they can't even make the meetings, which is a good time to say, you don't have to make the meetings. So the first option we have as a volunteer is a task manager. Even if you only have 15 or 20 minutes a week, as long as you can donate some time, we'll give you tasks that help what we're doing. So an example would be if you have 15 minutes a week and you're willing to do so, I might ask you to put an ad on Facebook Marketplace. Human rights for sale for 84 cents. Because if you put the amount of money that Elon Musk used to manipulate our elections and you divide that by the population of our country, we each had our human rights stolen from us at 84 cents a person. If, for example, maybe you're a lawyer and you can't help that much because you're too busy, but you can give me 2 hours of your time total ever, I would set up a meeting with you and call you and ask you questions like, if we sell human rights on Facebook, is that illegal and we're going to get somebody in trouble? Just so I can have a better understanding of what we're doing. But really, a task manager might do anything from helping us with spreadsheets, getting some information from a government entity so we can share it with others, or just spreading the word in different ways that they feel comfortable distributing. 15 minutes a week is all we need. If you have more, fantastic. The next role is an organizer. That's a larger role with somebody who consistently has more than 2 to 4 hours a week plus to be able to help. An example with that would be for somebody to plan a petition party. What we're doing with trying to not only create our moral majority that has signed our pledge, we're also looking to encourage people to run for local office.
But I really want to.
When you run for local office in your area, these small roles can
No, I should
help
do this.
change
Why?
your community. And we think that there's power in small roles, such as the county clerk that offers marriage licenses to same-sex couples, and also the school board member that can vote against banning books. They've discussed the way that the current administration has used its powers to manipulate us as flooding the gates with change and flooding the gates with rules. Well, we're going to flood the gates as well. We're going to flood the gates with good, moral people that are running for local elections on the ballots, running in elections that are too small to pay attention to or try to rig for the big guys, because there is power within that. An organizer might do something as little as plan a petition party, where a group of people that agree with us come together one time So all of our candidates can bring their petition that they have to file to run and get signatures by the large group all at once. We want to work to be able to support our candidates so they run collectively. That way, no individual feels like they have to fundraise alone or get their name out to get votes as an individual. Instead, we run together simply saying, we are good people with morals that value your human rights. The next option is to be a county leader. That's the best way for us to divide things is by county because that's how elections typically are broken up. This is going to be a much larger role. Work can be delegated to task managers, but I'll be honest, you probably will have to have more than 4 hours a week to be able to have the amount of time to finish what a county leader has to do. Then the final is a state leader, which is the largest role, and you're going to manage all the volunteers in your state from county leaders and below. We try to make this hierarchy really simple and loose because we need to move quickly and we don't want to have a lot of rules and things that make things more difficult. Our main plan is to try to get as many candidates as possible. There's 3,000 counties in the country. Just the two counties that I looked at had 40 different positions that were available for elected officials. If we were to fill every single one of those, that's 120,000 people that we would need to get to run. Also, some of these counties have deadlines. Like, for example, some of the deadlines in Knox County, I think, are February 19th. So we only have 4 weeks. I understand that that's not that much time. However, this has only been alive for about 48 hours, and there's at least 7 or 8 of you on this call. If 7 or 8 of you can be recruited in 48 hours, I think each of you can recruit 7 or 8 people in the next 48 hours. And then we'll have over 50 or 60, and this movement will be 4 days old. What we're trying to do is to have these meetings every single night at 9 p.m. because it's 6 p.m. in California. What I would like for you to do is to share this message with as many people as possible. We're working on our website and should have it done hopefully by the end of this weekend. I need to create a Facebook page, but our Facebook group already exists. It's called the Moral Compass Collective. Please join our Facebook group and we will be publishing these meetings in the Facebook group every day. So if you miss one, you're free to watch it. If you miss one, try to come to the next one if you can. You don't have to come to one every single night. We just want to make it easy to recruit people by saying there's a meeting every night at 9 and it's only going to take 15 minutes. We do have an Instagram and a TikTok created. It's US Moral Compass is our username for both of those. If anybody is willing to help us with creating things on social media and sharing things, that's the first volunteer roles that we have to fill as task managers. And then also, if anybody is interested in being a county leader, a state leader, or an organizer, we would love to know. Our email is usmoralcompass@gmail.com. You can email us directly to tell us if you want to have any part of being a volunteer. If that's not going to work for you, I will share the information for you to be a recruiter and share this with others. If that's too much to ask, I will still just share our pledge for the Moral Compass, and we would love for you to sign it. That's the end of the 15-minute meeting for tonight. I'd love to stick around and answer anybody's questions, and hopefully I have some answers for you. If nobody has questions, then I would love to hear from you via email.
What kind of offices are you talking about running for?
So it depends each county what offices are available. So one of the first things that I'm having a task manager do is say, I'll make a spreadsheet for Knox County, for example. When I looked at Knox County, County clerk is available here. There's four different positions on the school board that are available. And I want to look and see what are some of the other ones. Those were just the elected offices that I saw and I knew what they did because I've worked with them before. Um, we're making a spreadsheet that not only is going to say what office is available in each county, but also a description of what that person does. And then we also are going to try to see if we can find out some information that says a county clerk works 40 hours a week. It's part of the role. You'd have to quit your job to be a county clerk. But maybe a school board position only has to go to school board meetings once a month. So that way people can understand if they were to run for something, what the time commitment would be.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions before we end our meeting?
Um, Lindsay, I was going to ask you, as far as the forms go, like to do the pledge, do people sign them and then like take a picture and send it back to you? Or is there going to be something on the website that's like a form where they fill out and to pledge
Yeah, so we're building a website where you can easily just sign the pledge. And as soon as you
online?
sign it, yeah, it's going to be electronic and online. I got excited, honestly, and I shared this with some people because I think time is of the essence for some of these counties. And I think that as this goes along, if we're trying to be a movement that really makes change quickly, we're just going to constantly be in motion and nothing's going to be perfect. So, for the people that got a terrible looking logo that I made, we have a much better one now. And then I sent you a message and it kind of seemed like spam because I didn't write it very well. And I'm going to make that also be better. So, we just were trying to get the word out as quickly as possible. But the goal with the website is that people are going to be able to sign the pledge online just with like checking a box and putting a tiny little bit of information in. They don't even have to give us personal information like to contact them again if they don't want to. As soon as they sign the pledge, it's going to ask them if they want to share it in multiple ways. So it's going to have verbiage that they can copy and paste to send to people. It's going to have ways that they can share it immediately on their Facebook page if they're
Mhm.
okay with that, or to email it to others. And there's also going to be links where you just have a link from the website that you can just share the link and it explains everything. We're also going to start doing social media so we can explain it a little bit better.
Mhm.
Where if somebody's interested enough, you could say, well, just go look at this TikTok or just go look at this Instagram. Here's the link. If you like what they say, here's the link. So the goal for us is to make the website extremely simple to use and pledging and signing really simple to sign up. And if that's all some people have, understood.
Mhm.
And then beyond that, if they're willing to share it, that's where we're trying to do recruiting is really going to have to be on a person by person basis. And it might be through social media, but we don't have the opportunity to hope that something is going to go viral, right?
Mhm.
So for us, if we have people that truly believe in what we're saying, I'm going to do things like if I share something on my social media that aligns with these morals and people that I haven't talked to in 20 years like what I shared, I'm going to message them and say, hey, I saw that you liked this video I shared where somebody's human rights were being violated. I haven't talked to you in 20 years, and I know this might seem a little weird, but we're trying to start a movement here very quickly. Here's a link to what it's about. Here's a video to what it's about. We've got a meeting at 9 o'clock every night. It's only going to take 15 minutes. If you're interested, please join us. So I'm trying to hope as much as possible that some people will just take some time to share that way because that's a lot more convincing than it is for you to see even something that went viral.
Okay. Will you also have a place for donations? Will you be taking donations on your site?
So one of the tasks that we have is I need help for us to, I need somebody with a legal mind to tell me how I can take donations or tell me how I can
Mhm.
set up donations. Because I don't know. I mean, I run a business. I know how to
Yeah.
accept your money. but I don't know how to do that right now unless it's under my business and I pay taxes and blah blah blah. So that's one of the things we need help with. But I do think that it makes sense for us to be able to take donations to support the candidates that we're trying to get to run. Because we wanted to do things like our branding is lavender because don't care if you're red, white, or blue, or whatever political party you're from. We're all united together. So then we need to let you know if people are on the lavender team with us. And I know that it costs money to do things like that. So we will want to take donations and we need help with figuring out how to do that correctly.
Okay.
Does anybody else have a question? Wonderful. I think it's great that these meetings are short because that lets us all focus on things that we can do to help, and it makes it really easy for you to buy in to be able to be a part of this. If you're not able to attend a meeting every night at 9, I have no expectations for people to be able to do that. I'm just trying to make it easy so you know when these meetings are and that they're going to be short and that you might be able to participate or at least watch it later without really being intrusive in your day. If you are, if you have any time at all to help us, we will send information first so you can share with as many people as possible. And if you have time beyond that, email usmoralcompass@gmail.com so we can start talking about what your time commitment can be and we can start giving up tasks. Other than that, we're going to share information on our Facebook page. We're also going to start an email list if you want to join that. And we're going to continue to be here at 9 o'clock tomorrow. I might have to send out a different link because I'm going to make it so it's a consistent link that once you have it, it's the same one every night at 9 and you don't have to reshare links every night. I didn't know if I did the link correctly this time, so I'll do it better tomorrow and I'll share a new link with everybody tomorrow that can be consistently shared for 9 p.m. every night. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, wonderful. Well, I hope to get some emails from you and we'll also be sharing the pledge so you can sign electronically by the end of this weekend. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.